Hi, my name is Pastor Hal York, and welcome to Truth in the Trenches. Today we're going to be in Proverbs chapter 23, verse 1 and 2. It says, "When you sit down to eat with a ruler, observe carefully what is before you, and put a knife to your throat if you're given to appetite. Do not desire his delicacies, for they are deceptive food." When you sit down with a ruler, that's who he's talking to. What are we to do? We're to observe carefully what is before us, to think carefully with discernment, with this discipline. Well, what is before us that we need to observe with care as we're sitting down with his ruler? Well, the first thing he does is remind us, depending on who we are different people, and we may see things differently because we all have different appetites. What would you be impressed with as you sit down with his ruler? It all depends what your appetites are. If I have an appetite for things, I see all kinds of nice things. I see a beautiful home, nice chariots, beautiful horses, or in our vernacular today, be nice cars, and so on. If I have an appetite for control or power, I see someone who has tremendous power. If I have an appetite for food, I'm surrounded by really good food. If I like money and all the things money can buy, I'm drooling as I look around. This is what it's all about. This is what I want for my life. If suddenly your life seems mundane and boring, and all you can think about is all the things you see here that you don't have, and you think about how wonderful your life would be if you had it all. When you got there, you were content. You were just happy to be invited. But now you're gripped by this dissatisfaction with your life. It seems so empty, so ordinary. It's sort of like when you went to the doctor last week. You were perfectly happy living in your 2-bedroom bungalow. Then while you were waiting for your appointment, you picked up a copy of Better Homes and Gardens and started looking through the Better Homes and Gardens in the magazine. Better homes than yours. Well, it says it right in the title, so what did we expect? But suddenly we're embarrassed that you're making your family live in such a dump. So we don't say it out loud, but you begin to think as you're sitting there with his ruler, I need to work harder. I turned down that promotion, and what was I thinking? It would have meant more money. Yes, I'd have hardly seen my family and hardly ever been home, but I could have got all this stuff. Why didn't I take it? If you're a person given to these things, as you look around, guard your heart. Be on guard. You may leave there thinking, I don't care what the cost is, I'm going to have this kind of life. And you may succeed, but there will be a price. Verses 9 and 10 give us some insight into how some, not all people who have attained this status have gotten their flattery and dealing unfairly with those who are hard done by. Verse 10 says, "Do not move the ancient boundary or go into the fields of the fatherless." And sometimes that's how these rich people get rich. They just take advantage of people who are hard done by. And so the writer adds in verse 4, "Do not toil, do not weary yourself to gain wealth. Cease from your consideration of it." 1 Timothy 6:9 says, "But those who desire to be rich fall into temptation, into a snare, into many senseless and harmful desires that plunge people into ruin and destruction." So Proverbs says, be discerning enough to desist. It is amazing how quickly we can become discontented, how quickly we can forget that life does not consist in the abundance of the things we possess. How quickly we are to put people, our family, our spouse on the shelf while we pursue things, riches, that, as verse 5 says, can suddenly sprout wings and fly away, and all we have left is the family we abandoned under the guise of trying to give them a better life. And the reality, sadly for many, is they don't have a family left when they come back. They find themselves alone and bitter. And all because they watched an episode of the lifestyles of the rich and famous and lost their grip on what matters in life. A better life is not more stuff, power, or fame. It is relationships, loving relationships, caring, and kindness. A life lived in a relationship with God to the glory of God, having been reconciled to God through the cross of Jesus Christ. It is God that gives us the ability to enjoy what he has given us. When we turn our back on him, we turn our back on the true meaning of life and the ability to enjoy the very things we're pursuing, riches, fame, and power. We see what this pursuit has done to this person later in the chapter. People have become pawns. They are just things he uses to get what he wants. He sees people as trees walking, and that's what we can become as well. You can't believe anything this person says about you. All the praise is designed to get something for himself. But you're so enraptured with all the things around you, you don't see it. And like Esau, you sell your soul for a bowl of porridge. What is your weakness? Is it nice stuff? Is it power? Is it a beautiful garden? We all have our appetite for something. But the question is, has it gripped your heart to the point that nothing else matters? Has it become the driving force in your life? Maybe we need to put down the magazine and pick up our Bibles and stop working those crazy hours just to get more stuff. That we need to go home and spend time with our family. That's what really matters. Serve God and get involved in serving people, not using people. Your family needs you. Your church needs you. And you need the church, and you need your family. The pagan world is obsessed with these things. God's children are to seek first the kingdom of God, and all these things will be added unto them as God sees fit. He knows what we need. Read Matthew chapter 6 when you're done listening to this, and you'll see what Jesus has to say to people who are caught up with all of this kinds of stuff. May this truth guide us and guard us in the trenches of life as we seek to live for the glory of God and the good of others. May God bless.